Hello, this is Joe from Citrus County Porch Life, bringing you the AA Word of the Day for August 15th, 2024. And the word is, didn't we hurt anybody? And this is the quotation. Some of us, though, tripped over a very different snag. We clung to the claim that when drinking, we never hurt anybody but ourselves. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 79. And this is the commentary from the Daily Reflections. This step seemed so simple. I identified several people whom I had harmed, but they were no longer available. I was uneasy about this step and avoided conversations dealing with it. In time, I learned to investigate those steps in areas of my life which made me uncomfortable. My search revealed my parents, who had been deeply hurt by my isolation from them, my employer who worried about my absences, my memory lapses, my temper, and friends I had shunned without explanation. As I faced the reality of the harm I had done, Step 8 took on new meaning. I am no longer comfortable and I feel clean and light. Well, this particular reading seems like it's all about me. I mean, this was me drinking. It says here, my parents who have been deeply hurt by my isolation from them. I was one of those guys who would promise you anything. I'll be there, I'll help, I'll do something. But then I started drinking and I said, I don't feel good. My back hurts. This hurts, that hurts. And then I would never show up. It's not that I never had any contact with my parents, but my primary purpose was to drink and get drunk. And that would interfere with it. My employer who worried about my absences, well, that wasn't so much a problem with me. To tell you the truth, I worked third shift. On my 20th anniversary with the bank, no one wanted to come in and give me my 20th gift because they didn't want to get up that early in the morning. So, and back in those days, in the 70s and 80s, they really did not computerize absences, so it was your word against theirs. I was the manager, so I didn't have to sign in. And sometimes with the way other people took absences, I don't think they were ever recorded, but I can remember the first day that I started on my job as supervisor of operations for the bank for the third shift. I got appendicitis, and it was put off for a couple of months. I had to be rushed to the hospital. I was still it was a Friday. I was still training for my job at night, and I went to the nurse at the hospital. I said, I feel sick like I've never felt before. She said, you had a greasy donut. I said, I don't think so. She said to me, well, lay down here. And when she came in, I said, the whole room is spinning. I said, I am sick. I've never felt sick like this before. Well, I'm not giving you the day off. You can go see your own doctor. So I knew a friend that worked downtown, and he gave me a ride to what used to be called Rhode Island Group Health. It was an HMO. And I went in there, and the doctor took one look at me and said, son, you're sick. He felt my stomach, that rebound tenderness, and boom. I said, doctor, can I get a second opinion? He says, no, you're very sick. You could die from this. I said, okay, and that was it. I went out and had my appendix out, and back in those days, you stayed in the hospital a lot longer. And this goes on to speak about friends I had shunned. Actually, when I stopped drinking, as soon as I turned 17, I kind of developed a whole bar life. I went to this men. It wasn't by law men's bar, but it was men hung out there to get away from their wives. There were 2 pool tables. The owner treated all the patrons very well. You'd have sandwiches out, real salty stuff, so you keep drinking. He made book before it was illegal to bet. And if you were a married guy and didn't want your wife to know that you were there, there was a big plaque on the chalkboard on the wall. You could put your name, and if he controlled the phones because he did the betting. And if she called and said, "Oh, is John there?" he'd say, "No, I haven't seen him," and that was it. He was sitting right there when the call came in. But anyway, those friends that I went there for many, 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 many years, told me that I was boring once I stopped drinking, that I wasn't the fun that I was before. So that shows you the true nature of our bond in that bar. We were like kids in a sandbox. You think they're all playing together, but they're parallel playing. And that was an awakening. That just by stopping drinking, these people, they had no intention of stopping drinking, so they were going to go to the bar, but I stopped going. I just, I heard in AA meetings, if you go to the barbershop, eventually you're going to get a haircut. And I did not, once I started feeling good from being sober, I did not want to be drunk again. And that's the way it was. So, and these are the things you don't think of when you take your inventory. The passive harm you've done to some people. But passive harm is dangerous. If you look in the scriptures, you see that poor man Lazarus who died. He had sat outside the window of the rich man and ate the scraps that the rich man threw out to the dogs. Now, he did nothing to harm the man, except he ignored him and didn't have anything to do with him. And so some sins can be passive. And that's what I have to watch out for that. I wish I had those days back that, I skipped out on my parents and didn't do this and didn't do that. I can remember one morning, my father says, "You want tomatoes?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "All right, get over here." So I got over there, and I was hungover. I was feeling bad. He got a whole truckload of cow manure. He said, "You want the tomatoes? You spread this over the garden." I said, "Oh, come on, what about the other guy, my other brothers?" He said, "Well," he says, "I'm asking you." And of course I did it. And I had a good time doing it, and through it, my hangover went away. But, if I knew something, there was some kind of work I didn't want to do, I'd make sure that I wasn't there or I had a hangover or something. But that's my story on this. Have a safe August 15th, 2024, a blessed and holy day, and I'll see you tomorrow.